right. Good seeing everybody. There are no injuries to talk about. Everybody's going to practice today. So look forward to the challenge of playing Cincinnati. Good football team, as you'd expect, coming down to the last four teams standing here. So we look forward to the challenge of playing them. With that, time's yours.
What's the comfort level in Patrick practicing today?
Yeah, no, he'll practice. He did the walkthrough this morning, and he'll practice this afternoon.
Do you anticipate him being a full or limited participant?
Yeah, I think we'll see. But, I mean, I think he'll do probably everything. But we'll see, yeah.
What can you draw on from past examples of players playing through injuries and how Patrick learned from that?
Well, I mean, he's had injuries before, so he can bank on, that past experience that he's had. But, he'll do fine. It's just a matter of making sure that he's safe safe as you can be out there on the football field. But.
Andy, is it a case of just wanting to see him get through some things today, and then obviously next hurdles is obviously how does it respond for tomorrow's practice?
Yeah, I mean, it is day by day. Yeah, day by day. Yeah, I'd tell you yes.
Is there one or maybe two things you want to see from him today in practice, just to ensure that you guys are headed in the right direction?
Well, just how he functions. He did well in the walkthrough, and we'll just take the next step, Nate. I mean, just see where he's at with it and go with it. Yeah.
Coach, when it comes to McCole, you guys backed off last week, and it sounds like today. Just where is he at?
Yeah, he feels better than he did the last couple of weeks. So that move looked like it worked to this point. And then again, we'll just see how he does every day here. And he seems to be in a good place. Yeah.
Andy, you've spoken about this before, but Kadarius seems to have found a unique spot within the offense, and I wonder if you could elaborate a little bit on how he's been able to do that both physically and also with his ability to grasp the offense.
Yeah, well, I mean, the main thing was that, excuse me, is that he, the hamstring was healthy. I mean, that was kind of the hang-up. And it kept occurring. I don't think, knowing him now, I'm not sure he ever let it get to the healing point because he wants to play. It's one of those things. So I'm sure he was saying, I'm okay, it's, fine. But because of his desire to be out there, he loves to play the game. That's what, that's what I've noticed most is he wants to be in there. So we backed him up a little bit and just made sure that he could be kind of get healthy in that area. And, he's been doing great since. Knock on wood there, but I mean, he's been doing great, yep.
Did you feel like, or do you feel like he had a particularly fast grasp of what you're trying to do?
He's a smart kid, yeah. Smart. Picks things up easy, yeah.
Andy, any thought that Clyde could be up this weekend and also George Ford?
There's a chance, probably more, there's a chance either one, but maybe more Fortson than Clyde, but we'll see how it goes, this week.
You guys have played the Bengals so often in the last year or so. You feel like you know them about like a division opponent at this point with this many games?
Yeah, I would say probably both ways. I would say that they know us and we know them. And, we're all searching for that little extra thing that you can throw at them. So we've played each other enough to, I'm sure both sides feel that way.
Andy,
Coach,
when you
Coach,
look
you
at
have Isiah Pacheco, who's, of course, a rookie going into this game. He's never been in this situation before as starting running back. What are your conversations like this week with them?
Yeah, it's really with all the rookies. I'd just say just be you and go play. I mean, that's learn the game plan and don't be anything more or anything less. Just go play.
Coach, there are people in Cincinnati who feel like they've got something. There's something that they have, maybe mentally. Their players have more confidence against you guys. What do you say to that?
Yeah, well, listen, they probably should. They've won 3 games, so that's I'm sure that's how they feel. But that's okay. We're still going to play the game. So.
Coach, you said both teams are searching for the extra thing to get on top of each other. What did you see from the last game that put them over the top of y'all?
That wouldn't be smart if I answered that, but Oh,
who waive Chris Lamont's, and then all of a sudden you see the Bengals claim him.
sure.
How much of that were you disappointed to see something like that?
I mean, that's part of the game. I mean, that happened. I'm glad he hooked on with another team, so we'll be all right.
Andy, I know, like you said, you weren't going to elaborate on specific points of, what got you a win or a loss, but I do wonder, you look at the 3 games with the Bengals, is there a commonality of self-induced mistakes that will be a point of emphasis with the
Yeah.
guys this week, or any more than usual? Or?
Yeah, against good teams, you can't do that, right? So our guys know that. And 2 good teams playing each other, the littlest thing can throw it to the side, so you got to take care of the ball. Yeah.
Andy, anything we asked you when you faced Jacksonville, if there's anything different you'd seen from the November match to then, you feel the same way about Cincinnati? Is it kind of the same things you've seen out of them since it's so recent that you've played them last, or is there anything you see different?
Yeah, I just tell you they're a real good football team. They're not they don't have a lot of weaknesses on either side of the ball or special teams. So, it's that part hasn't changed from the first time we played them. They're good, or they wouldn't be here at this round. So, that'd be it.
Andy, it's an AFC Championship game. The guys are going to be up regardless, but do you sense that playing this particular team means something to your players?
Yeah, whoever they're going to put in front of you right now, I mean, you're going to be up for the game. I mean, that's and then these 2 teams compete well against each other, and so I think both teams will do that. Yeah.
And you mentioned has battled through injuries before in the past, and he's played well battling through them. But I guess, is he more prepared to handle it now as opposed to years past in terms of mentally playing the spot or handling it in any capacity?
Yeah, I would probably tell you yes. Yeah, I mean, he had a couple injuries in college that he fought through, but he's had in the NFL with all the games that you play, very seldom you get to this point without having something. I mean, that's just how it goes. And so I think I mean, he knows it. He knows that, and he's pushing through right now. And we'll just see. We'll see how he does here. I mean, you're going to be looking at him like we're looking at him. So.
Andy, with the quarterback dealing with an injury, obviously you have to maybe adjust some things. I just wonder where you feel like your experience, having been the coach for all these years, helps you maybe get a quarterback, obviously maybe limited or hindered by something into a rhythm, to have them succeed in a better place. Where do you feel like your experience allows
Yeah.
you to succeed?
Yeah, you know what, Nate? I think we have enough in the game plan where you can kind of pick and choose where you want to go with it, and according to how the players are feeling, while they're playing, and so maybe experience helps. But there's enough in there that you can choose from and work any way you choose to go.
And is that, just a quick follow-up, is that, I think in previous times you said that there might be 250, maybe 300 plays for a certain game plan. Is just having a wider selection, does that also help too? Is that kind of?
Yeah, that's why you have a variety of things that you can go to. Obviously, you don't use all the plays in the game, but they're available. And, so if you have to go a certain direction, you can go that direction with the calls.
Patrick's just mental fortitude and fighting through injury in the past. Are you comfortable? He does comparatively very little at practice this week, and really all his game on mental.
Yeah, most likely he won't just do a little. He's gonna. I don't think I'm gonna have to go there with that. I might have to pull him back a little bit, but knowing him, I think he's gonna try to do everything, and we'll just see how he does. But I'm sure, I don't know what that number is, Michelle. I mean, whatever the number is, it is that he needs, but I don't think that's going to be the issue.
Andy, Frank Clark's in the top 5 career postseason sacks in the big game last week. What are you seeing from him to suggest he could have another big game Sunday? And what is it about him in the postseason?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's always fired up, but I guess there's a little something extra there that he has, but he's a relentless player all the time. His numbers speak for themselves, you know, throughout his career. But it's quite a record or opportunity for a record there with the sacks in playoffs. So you got to get there first to get them, right? And so he's had a lot of opportunities to do that when he was in Seattle and now here.
Last one. Coach, there's a lot of talk about the passing game and both quarterbacks, but the Bengals are a very physical team, and so is the Chiefs. So how much emphasis is that going on in practice?
Yeah, so, yeah, both teams are physical, and that's a good thing. It should be a great game to be a part of and for our fans to watch. So right now, though, you're not going to, you know, go and bang each other up before the game and do that. But the guys know that they absolutely know what you're saying, and so they'll prepare themselves mentally for that.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thanks, Andy.
Hi, Patrick.
How you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing good. You know, AFC Championship week, ready to go.
How's the ankle?
It's doing good. You know, I've had a few days of treatment, a few days of rehab. Excited to get on the practice field and kind of test it out and see where I'm at. But it's feeling good so far.
You expressed that you'd start treatment the night after the game. Can you just kind of bring us through what that night was and then these last few days, what you've been doing?
Yeah, I was able to do some extra testing just to make sure everything was good the night after the game, and then get a few things done to help the treatment kind of start off. And then the next few days has just kind of been, I mean, all-day thing where you're just doing either treatment or rehab or watching film. And I had to take Brittany a few places with me so I can be around the kids a little bit. But it's a full-day thing where you're trying to make sure that you're obviously prepared for the Bengals and a great football team, mentally and physically.
Patrick, what do you think has been the toughest injury that you've had to play through before, and how that might serve you for Sunday?
Probably my toe would probably be the toughest injury. I remember when I had the toe, I was like I had to curl my toes when I walked. So that was probably the toughest injury that I had to play through. But I've dealt with a lot of them, man, and you kind of have to mentally just get yourself to focus on what needs to be focused on, and that's the team that you're playing, and you prepare your body all week, and then when you get to Sunday, you focus on playing the football game, and that's what I'm going to try to do this week.
Is this at all comparable to the injury you had against Jacksonville a few years ago?
Yeah, it's very similar, just a different ankle, especially when you're different ankles at the quarterback position, you're planting and throwing off different stuff. So the last one, it was the leg that I landed on, so I had to find ways to throw where I could land and keep it in the right spot. And this time I'll have to find ways to be able to push off and be able to still make the throws the right way. So definitely similar in a sense, but obviously different limitations and stuff that I'll have to work through.
This is the first time, I guess, in your Chiefs career that you come into a playoff game as an underdog, especially as a home underdog, basically due to your injury, so to speak. Do you feel more pressure? Do you feel like it's because you're an underdog now, there's not a lot of pressure, because a lot of people expecting Cincinnati to win this game now?
Yeah, I mean, every time I walk on that field, I don't think I'm an underdog, especially when I walk on Arrowhead's field. So I just go in with the same mindset of we're going to play our best football to win. We know we're playing a great football team that's beat us the last 3 times. And so we have to learn from our mistakes in the past and be better in order to win against a great football team.
Did you see the video?
Does it require a different, just because of which leg it is, does it require an adjustment in footwork, and do you try and practice that adjustment now?
I think we'll see throughout the week. I haven't got to go out and practice yet and put myself in those positions. I've done limited stuff, kind of in a small kind of box of what I can do, but I'll push it a little bit today and then the next day and then the next day again and see what I can do that not re-aggravate the injury, obviously, but to push it to see what I'll be able to do on Sunday.
Any hesitation mentally, considering the last time we're in the field that you want to have coming up on Sunday?
There was a little bit earlier in the week. I mean, you want to push it, but like I said, you don't want to re-aggravate it or do something that you were in the position this last game and it was hurting. But that's stuff that you do the rehab and then you do the treatment for is to prepare yourself to go out and practice and go out and play. And I mean, all you can do is keep pushing it and pushing it, and try to do whatever you can to go out there and win a football game.
Patrick,
You do at home, but are you off your feet when you're at the house, or you doing some stuff at home as well?
You know, when I'm at the house, it's usually either studying or going to sleep. So it's just kind of prepare yourself, do whatever I can at the building, and then whenever I can't get off my feet and get some sleep, then I'll go get some sleep.
Looking at past legends that have played through major injuries, what's your awareness on some of them in the past, and what can you learn from that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of greats have done it. I mean, I think it's just about being a competitor. I mean, if you want to be out there, and especially in these games. And so all you can do is just mentally prepare yourself and your body throughout the week. And then, like I said, you get the game day, you just have to focus on the game. And that's what I'll try to do is prepare my body the best I can and get to the game and just go out there and play and try to find a way to win.
Has this progressed better than you expected?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I felt better than I thought I was going to be after the game. I mean, moving on it during the game definitely hurt. But after the game, I was able to rest it and kind of ice it up and do different stuff like that. I felt in a little bit better position, and obviously the next morning felt a little bit better, and I've continued to get better throughout the week. So we'll see how I feel today at practice, and I'll get a better feel for y'all, and I'll be able to, I think, answer a little bit better tomorrow.
Patrick, and
This is a team you've faced a few times, like a division opponent. You guys know each other pretty well. You've been able to run on them. What has been the challenge trying to throw against that secondary?
Yeah, they're coached well, man. Their defensive coordinator, Coach Anarumo, has done a great job of changing up the game plan. I think that's been the best thing. Is very game plan specific. It's never the same. He gives you different looks out of the same look, but different coverages. And that's what I think a lot of great defensive coordinators do. Is they're able to coach their team up and do a lot of different stuff and variety of stuff, but still be sound in it. And I think that's what they do well. And then they have great players. I mean, at the end of the day, they have great players that are extremely coachable and go out there and do their job to the best of their ability. And so when you're at this point in the playoffs, you're playing against great teams, and it's about who can execute at a higher level.
In different ways, for lack of better terms, the Bengals have been a little vocal this week. What's been the messaging internally just to not get involved with that and react and to that type of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we just go out there and play football at the end of the day, and all that stuff you can talk throughout the week, but at the end of the day, it's a football game. You have to go out there and play it. And so we believe in just showing up on Sunday, playing our best football, and seeing what happens.
We're going to go four more. We'll go Vahe, Todd, Steve, and then Sam. Go ahead, Vahe.
Patrick, a little related to that, you're a lot more used to having winning streaks against other teams than having one going this way. How do you work with that in terms of the motivational point there? I know you look for motivation at different places.
Yeah, I mean, we've obviously lost this team 3 times in a row, and we've had great football games against them, but they've been able to beat us situationally at the end of games. And so how can we be better there? We know it's going to be a close football game. Every team you play in this position is going to be a close football game. But how can we be better situationally that we go out there and we're able to execute on third down in the red zone and at the end of games in order to win against a good football team?
This gets in your head in a negative way in any way, right? I mean, I assume it's motivation rather than.
Yeah, I don't know how it would be a negative way. I mean, I think you won't relax. You'll focus in even more on the details. So, I mean, we'll be ready to go, and I'll be ready to go for sure.
Todd, they've done a nice job of putting pressure on a lot of teams. How much of what they do is scheme stuff, and how much of it is just physically they're able to do something to put pressure on quarterbacks?
Yeah, I think more than anything, they have no weakness across that whole defensive line and that linebacker position. I mean, they do a good job of pass rushing. They do a good job with their DBs of rushing from the outside, and they keep changing it up. I think that's the biggest thing is you can't relax back there. You have to make sure that you're really focused on the details, and same with the offensive line and the running backs and the protection plan. So, I mean, it's a little bit of both. They have great players all throughout that defense, and then they have a great coach and a defensive coordinator. So, for us, we have to focus on the details, prepare ourselves the best way possible, and at the end of the day, we have to go out there and play.
Patrick, you talked about, working yourself back into the groove as far as, being able to not be limited and moving around. What's your message to the offensive line, knowing that you may be limited and not be able to move?
Yeah, I think you saw in the second half of this last game, man. They stepped up and did a great job of protecting me, and where I was able to throw the ball from within the pocket. And I'm sure they'll be ready to go. But like I said, it's a great defensive line, so it'll be a great challenge for them. But I'm excited for those guys to go out there and accept the challenge.
Last one, Sam. Patrick, without asking you to give away what you're game planning for, does your game plan adjust based on the fact that you think they might perceive you have limitations?
Not necessarily. Like I was saying earlier, they're very game plan specific, and they switch every time it seems like we play them. And so it's one of those teams you have to be preparing for everything. We played them one time, they pressured a little bit. We played them one time, they dropped eight. We played them this last game, they played it more kind of true to the coverages. So I'm expecting them to have a mixture of all that stuff, man. I mean, that's why they're in this position. And so you just prepare yourself to be ready for it and execute the play and then move on to the next one. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, Patrick.
Justin,
Hello.
can you talk a little bit about facing Joe Burrow and what it is you've faced him enough now?
Yeah.
You know, you guys got experience against him. What do you see as some of the keys? Is he throwing the ball quicker? Why has he had the success he's had, and what are you guys trying to do to neutralize that?
Yeah. Well, just on top of the arm talent that he has, you know, he can make all the throws, deep balls, short balls. It's just he's also very patient. You know, he makes really good decisions with the football, hardly ever turns it over. It's really hard to get the gimmies that sometimes you see quarterbacks give the ball away, but with him, you really have to take it away. He's not going to give anything to you. Like I said, very smart with the football, very patient, and then even uses his legs at times when he needs to, too.
Justin, one of the things that last game, several times you guys had opportunities to make the tackles short of the line of the game. They were able to kind of force through that. How big of a key is that this time around to make sure that you get the guys on the ground?
Yeah, huge. I mean, this is the playoffs, and, you know, it's a game of inches, and, you know, there's a couple moments in that game to where, you know, the ball just was a little bit shorter. You know, the game might swing in a different direction. I mean, even that they come down to the wire at the end of the game, they even completed a slant on the outside, just inches away from making a play on the ball. That's just a credit to those guys. They do a good job on that offense. But we started to catch some heat, too, on the defensive side of the ball from December. We're going to have to ride that train of momentum that we've created and take that with us into this game, really play our best game of football against a very talented and high-powered offense.
Justin, this unit of receivers led by Jamar Chase, what makes them so difficult to defend, especially Jamar? I know you weren't here for the first two matches.
Mm-hmm.
The first one still goes for 90 in his return, and he's had, I think, around 400 altogether. What makes it so difficult along with the receivers?
Well, first and foremost, you know, you got Joe Burrow at quarterback, and, you know, he finds them to get the ball, but also they have a very talented cast wide receivers in him and also, you know, 83 and 85 and the way that they run their routes. Joe's not afraid to throw to any of them. They're not afraid of the one-on-one matchups on the outside, taking a shot down deep. And then they also just get the ball to him in space. They know that a lot of tension's on him, and they find ways to get him the ball, screens, checkdowns, things like that, and just get him the ball in space and let him do his thing. You know, that's a connection that they've had for a long time now, going even back to their college years. So they know each other well, and that tends to show up on the football field.
Justin, I know it's easier said than done, but as Spags talked about how much or how quickly you'll have to get to Joe Burrow, because it seems like, you know, I think he's been sacked by the Chiefs one time last year, Melvin Ingram in the AFC Championship game, I think once by Carl Loftus in Cincinnati this year. How vital and how important is it for you all to get to the ground?
Oh, extremely important. Can't let him sit back in the pocket and just get into rhythm throws, because that's when he's the most dangerous. Really need to find ways to force him out of the pocket and make those plays, because you're not going to win a game if you don't get sacks, if you don't get turnovers, especially against offense like this. So got to find ways to get pressure on them and create those turnovers.
Looking back at last year, your game against the Bills literally changed the NFL with the postseason rules. How are you guys preparing to potentially go into overtime where both teams will get the ball?
Well, first course of business is to try and handle what you can do in the first 60 minutes. But if it comes down to the overtime rules, you know, I think the dynamics change a little bit in the postseason now that, you know, if one team scores, the other team will get a chance at it. I'll leave that to Coach Reid on, we know, which direction they're going to want to go with the coin flip. But as far as we know, if it comes to that, we go out, we play defense. You know, it doesn't matter what the score is. If we're down or we're up, we play defense. We stop them from scoring any points. So that's going to be the mentality on the defensive side of the ball.
Justin, just given Chase and all these weapons with Higgins and all their pass catchers, how much more elevated does the communication in the back end become, and then the safety help that you might need with these guys?
Extremely. You know, we want to know where he's at every play. I mean, the guy has put enough times on tape that he's a very dynamic weapon for them. So we're going to have high level awareness. Arrowhead Stadium, you're going to be able to help us out with the noise that I'm sure is going to be there and disrupting the communication that they're going to have on their offense communicating with each other. And we're going to have to do a good job on communicating on defense, non-verbally, verbally, whatever way we can, make sure everybody's on the same page.
I know that it's been about a month probably since you've been saying the rookies aren't rookies anymore.
Mm-hmm.
How ready are your young guys in the secondary for this challenge that they're going to face this time?
We're very confident in them. You know, they're built for this. We've seen it again last week. You know, Jalen Watson coming up with a big-time play to ice the game for us. So they're ready for this moment. We're confident in them. And, you know, we're going to go out and play.
How important was it that they've been able to go up against some guys like Diggs and Devontae Adams early on in the season too, when you get to that point?
Yeah, it really pays off with their confidence level here. You know, definitely it's a bigger stage. You know, the whole world's going to be watching, but at the end of the day, it's still a football game. You still rely on your technique, your keys, the same things you did before. Obviously, mistakes are magnified in the playoffs, so you can't have as many of those. But if you do the same thing you're doing, confident in your technique, it's going to tend to show up and good things tend to happen with that. So I encourage them to stay consistent with that, do what they always do, and come and play their best game. Don't think too much, just go play.
Justin, did you see the video of the players on the sideline at the end of the game saying we're going to be at Burrowhead Stadium next week? What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I think we all saw it, and, you know, those guys are having fun since they won the game. But we're going to just let our play on the field speak for us, and, you know, we're not going to get into any Joseph messages with them.
Last one.
Yeah, that was
Oh, okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
excellent.
Hi, Nick Bolton.
Hello, how you doing?
Nick, you're facing Joe Burrow again. What success, why has he been able to pull wins out? What is it you're looking for when you're facing him this time after having enough experience against him?
The last 3 times we played him, especially like the last time, the check downs became a problem. I was able to get the ball out to the running backs, and they made plays for him out there in space and kept him in front of the sticks. So we've got to do a good job of that and tackling check downs. And if we do that, we feel like we have a better chance of winning.
Mixon didn't play in the last game.
Mm-hmm.
How difficult of a challenge is it going to be for you on this time around with the addition of him and Kareem?
Yeah, man, they got two great backs, man. I watched them both a lot at OU, and I watched them continue to play together in the league. And again, they're complete opposites in terms of the skill sets they bring to the offense, but they're still both hard tackles and hard outs. So it takes all 11 of us. We got to stop the ball with our front and our linebackers, and we just got to tackle out in space.
How difficult is it, as for you studying the defense and communicating with everybody, when they move Jamar around so much, and especially trying to put him in the backfield or get him quickly to the line of scrimmage and kind of figuring out where he is?
Yeah, I think they do a great job with everybody. They have in their scheme, mixing around, putting them in different spots, different locations, trying to make the defense think a little bit, throw them in the backfield a little bit as well, just kind of switch it up a little bit. But again, we just got to communicate. We got to get in line and communicate, get everybody get in line, and just execute the game plan. We just got to tackle out in space again, like I said, and try to make it hard as we can for Joe Burrow, and then see what happens at the end of the game.
Nick, how good is Burrow's awareness, just considering when you guys bring blitzes from the second and third level, it seems like he's able to get the ball out real quick?
Yeah, he got a great feel for the game, man. We got to do a great job with disguises throughout this week. He gets the ball out quick, and then if he holds on to it, sees a blitz, gets out to his check down, gets to his hot routes. He does a great job of that. Again, it kind of helps him stay in front of the sticks, and that kind of hurt us the last 2 times we played him.
Nick, how much did that loss in the championship game last year motivate you in the offseason?
Oh, man, it's a lot. It was my first year, and I kind of feel like I left a couple plays out there on the table. And so I've been focusing on this one for a while. Just a chance to get back to this game, and we have to play them again. So I'm excited, and our team's excited, especially our defense excited.
Did the players feel more pressure this time around? Obviously, when I know you weren't here for it, but in 2018 they lost to the Patriots, motivating factor. They won the next two AFC Championship games. So they didn't like the fact of an opponent coming in, taking Lamar Hunt's trophy away. With that team doing that last year, coming back in, what's the talk about in the locker room?
Yeah, man, I feel like we're motivated. Just another chance to compete for another game at Arrowhead. We got another chance to play at home in front of our home fans, and that's exciting for us. We got to execute. We can't really worry about 2018 and comparing it to back then. And we just got to execute the game plan. We got to go out there, play fast, play physical, and have fun. I feel like that's just the message for this game. It's kind of what we got in house. It's kind of what we're motivated. Trying to motivate each other and our teammates. We're going to execute and just play hard for each other.
Nick, this is the fourth time you're playing them in 2 years. It's like a division rival almost because you match up so often. Maybe it's just the cameras catching the right time, but it seems maybe more chirpy, maybe a little more chatter between the two teams than normal games. Does it feel that way to you? Is there more talk? Is there?
That's playoff football. I've been here. This is my second year, and I've played in a lot of playoff games, and I kind of feel like that's just the level of intensity that you bring every single week. You got to bring that. You got to have that edge, have that chip on your shoulder if you want to compete and win games and get a chance to play in the Super Bowl.
So they don't get under your skin more?
No, sir.
Anyone else?
No, sir.
Nick, you mentioned tackling the check down, but also those elusive receivers like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, all those guys. Like, what's the difficulty of trying to get them to limit their yardage because they've been pretty productive against you guys?
Yeah, we're a press team, so we got to get hands on receivers, and again, we got to tackle. They do a great job putting their playmakers out there in space, giving them room to work with. So we got a vice tackle, get 11 hats to the ball, man, and just got to tackle out in space. That's gonna be the name of this game. They do a great job. Zach Taylor does a great job as well, getting their playmakers out there in space and getting good spacing and running backs, checkdowns, tight ends, all of it. So it's all about tackling in space and executing the game plan.
Nick, you mentioned those checkdowns. When you went back and watched those, technique issues on your guys' part, and then just making plays? How could you characterize some of those plays that weren't made this last game?
A little bit of both and a little bit of bad tackling as well. Kind of got to own our leverages and use people that are designated in that defensive play. Maybe whether it be a corner, another linebacker, or a safety. We got to use who we have in our scheme and tackling. Kind of led to a lot of it, including myself. I think I had a couple plays last time.
Nick, there's so much talk about how cool Joe is, how calm and controlled he always is. In the matchups you guys have had with him, has there been a moment where you guys have seen him rattled or you've rattled him?
Last time we played him, can't speak for, I can't remember the rest of them, but last time we played him, he didn't make a mistake all game, and he played a pretty clean game. And so I think we got to do a better job of forcing him to make a little bit tougher decisions, kind of get more pressure on him if we can, and actually finishing off sacks. I know we struggled for that the last 2 times we played him.
Kind of along the lines of what James asked, I mean, maybe with the exception of your guys, is there anybody that stands in there tougher with everything flying around him and stays focused? Is he about as tough to rattle as you come up against?
Outside our quarterback, yes, sir.
Thanks, everybody.
So, thank you.
Bye, Nick Bolton.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. But,
Well,
yeah.
let's talk a little bit about, you've seen this team a few times now. And Patrick was explaining how they're really good on defense of showing you one thing, doing another. They change it up. So what do you see as the biggest challenge facing them this time?
I think the biggest challenge for us is just going out there and just, making plays. You talk about two teams that are both prestige, great defense, and for us, it's just more so that we have to execute our plays. And when the ball is thrown to you, make your plays, convert on third downs. And like you said, Pat said one of the biggest things that they do with their defense is that they change a lot of things in between plays, which helps them. But for ourselves, it's more so that, we got to play our best game.
Where have they gotten? I mean, you're kind of uniquely qualified playing them 2 times a year in the division, and now coming over here getting a second time at them. Where have they improved in defense? A couple of years ago when you were seeing them, they were one of the bottom teams in the league. Now they're back-to-back AFC Championship.
I just think, honestly, they're just a physical team. They just play physical from start to finish, all 4 quarters. And that's something that, I saw that playing them in Cincinnati, and it felt like a playoff atmosphere game. And that's kind of like, what I'm expecting to see here.
You've had a lot of experience with playing with quarterbacks that play through injuries. What have you noticed from your time with the Steelers to now and the difference in quarterback play playing through injuries?
Oh, they're gonna play football regardless. They've been playing ball since their whole life. They love the game so much. There's nothing that's gonna stop Pat from doing what Pat does. So if that's what you're trying to ask me, yeah.
JuJu, there's been, the Bengals have been talking a lot this week. Burrow had a lot is coming from the defensive backfield. Based on what other guys have said, it seems like you guys are making a point not to make similar comments. But amongst yourselves in the locker room, are you guys aware and are you guys talking about what they're talking about?
I'm sure a lot of guys are aware of the comments that they're making. I've been playing against this team since I've been in the NFL, so it's nothing new to me. Like the Bengals, they've always been the raw team, and they back it up, and that's what they've been doing this whole season. So it's just more so for me to go out there and just play ball, have fun, and just talk about shoulder pads and helmet.
How excited were you to see Patrick Mahomes and the way his condition seems to be, improving as the week gone along to now?
Super excited, man. Like you said, that kid, man, he's a dog. He doesn't give up. He doesn't quit. As you guys saw that this past game, and going into this game, like I said, you'll see him out there.
What does it do for the mindset of this offense, just having a teammate like Patrick out there at practice fighting through this injury, knowing that ankle injuries can be really challenging?
That just pretty much to show that how much heart he has for his team and how much love, for everyone. Even this past game when he was going through his whole process and injury, he was still pushing. We could see that he was fighting, and it was nice for us because that kind of gave everybody in the room in the huddle momentum to like, yo, we gotta push, we gotta work for you. Like we're here for you, we got your back, and it showed this past game.
You're still early on in the season. Asked you about what your goals were, and one of them was to get to this game and be able to go to the Super Bowl. What's your excitement level of being able to be here now? And I know you feel like
Super excited.
But what's your excitement level getting being able to play this game?
I'm super excited, man. I can't wait to practice today. I can't wait to just go out there. It's just more so that this is my 6th year in the league, and I've been trying to get to this every year. And the fact that I'm here and I'm preparing for the week, we take day by day. And like I said, I'm excited. One thing we can't peak too soon though. So, yes, sir.
Have you allowed yourself to think about what it would be like if you won this game and made it to your first Super Bowl?
No, I haven't even thought that far. I'm focused on today, and once we conquer today, we'll focus on tomorrow, and then the following day, and then when game day comes, we'll go from there.
What was it like to see the game plan heading into this week? Just knowing you've done it now for 19, 20 weeks, but for this particular game, what was your sort of first reaction when you saw what you guys are building upon?
It's fire. It's fire. It's Andy Reid, it's Patrick Mahomes. Like it's nice. It's nice.
When you look at everything that you mentioned that Blue does with that defense and how they change things up, how important is it for you guys all as pass catchers to recognize things pre-snap as early as possible, right?
Yeah. So that's a big thing. That's very important for all of us. For all of us to be all on the same page, being able to read coverages in between while you're running routes, knowing when to stop, when to keep running. And that's like the biggest thing for us because you said like this defense is really good. They're physical up front. they change it around, they move around a lot, and for us, we got to be on the same page with Patrick Mahomes. So I think it's just more so for everyone just getting on the same page, right time, right moment, and it's gonna be like that on both sides of the ball.
When Chad came in the other day, the run game became even more important, and you guys kind of had to step up. How much of attention and elevation is there in the idea of we're going to have to pick it up a little bit this week when it comes to the little things like run blocking for you pass catchers?
Yeah, no, most definitely. I mean, we definitely got to run the ball. That's definitely huge for us. And like you said, when Chad came in, which Chad Henne's a dog, if you guys don't know that, he came in, and that was like our big emphasis is that be able to get the run game going just so we could throw the ball deep. And like I said, it just goes hand in hand when you run the ball and pass the ball.
Okay, thanks, JuJu.
Thanks, JuJu.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Can you talk a little bit about just the feeling at the moment? Here you are getting ready for an AFC Championship game against a team that you know could play its toughest game this weekend.
So for me, I've been waiting on this moment my whole life. So for me to continue to be myself and go out there and follow the leaders and take it play by play and let the game come to me.
Do you feel more of a sense, I mean, with Patrick being limited in some way, that more is on the running game, you, the offensive lineman, you guys talking about how much more important it might be to make sure that run's going this week?
It doesn't matter what we call, who's the quarterback, what we call, when we play, where we play. We're ready to go out there and execute.
Where's your confidence level? I mean, now that you remember when you're first kind of getting in, and you get your first start, now all the way, 19 games into this thing. Where's your confidence level?
Like Coach Toe said, we were rookies at one point, but now we're not rookies. The season's kind of over with. So for me, I kind of carry that mentality that I'm not a rookie anymore. So just continue to follow the leaders and do my role and play my part so we could execute.
You mentioned following the leaders. Who is it that you're leaning on as the most? Is it Jared? Is it
It's Jared, Travis, and Pat, and the whole offensive line. The guys that have been here before me and they've been in these situations, those are the guys that I look up to and learn from.
What did you learn most from the last time you saw this team as far as how they play defensively and what it takes to run against them?
They play very hard. They play as one, and you can credit them on that. They play very hard. So for us, we got to go out there and be ready to execute from the snap of the ball.
Divisional championship as a rookie, you've overcome a lot in your life. What would it mean to your siblings that are no longer with you anymore, to see that you've reached this level?
It's going to mean a lot. I have my nieces and nephews that are here to watch me grow and see me at my lowest to now my highs. But I always tend to not let it level out. I'm not satisfied. The job is not over with. There's more to come.
I'd say you see a team like the Bengals against the Chiefs like to go with a lot of light boxes or defensive backs in the field. As a running back and with your style, does that feel like an opportunity to you when you see more of those guys out there than maybe linebackers and bigger players?
Definitely. There's a lot of big guys out there, like you said, and for me to trust the scheme and allow the game to come to me will allow me to be at my best.
As you've gone along here, the coaching staff, you yourself has mentioned that, I need to find that patience as a pro. As you've gone along and you look back, how do you feel like you improved there, and where do you find yourself right now?
Like I said, it's going back to looking at the leaders and learning from them and, taking the game from them. And so that's what I've been doing, and learning from them is helped me overcome the game by playing so fast. The more playoffs game by come, it gets faster as game by game. So for me to just continue to to be patient and learn from my mistakes that we just learned from in the game in the classroom. It's important for me to take those mistakes and grow from them.
Specifically, what has it meant for what has Bieniemy meant for your development in your first year here?
Great coach. He motivational, and that's what it's all about. Being there for us when we need him, and calling the plays. We're gonna be the players out there playing. He can't play, so we got to go out there and execute.
Patrick is dealing with an injury this week. What do you expect out of that practice?
I expect Patrick to be himself, like he have been before, and for me to be myself and continue to follow them and grow.
How's your pass? How do you feel your pass protection has? How do you feel your pass protection has improved from beginning of the season to now? When it might be, it's very important at this time.
It's grown and that's the most important thing about this game, being able to protect and being able to play all 3 downs. So for me, growing more and trusting the scheme and continue to work hard, it's going to show for itself, and just me allowing the game to come to me and taking it day by day to execute.
We good? I know you got to run the play when the ball's coming to you. I know you have to run the play you guys designed, but how often do you look when you face Cincinnati? You see DJ Reader. It's a rarity to have that type of player in the middle of the defensive line and what they can do. Do you put an eye on him?
No, I'm not really worried about the name. Not worried about no names. Worried about the number and the scheme and trusting what we got that's called, so we can execute. And that's the mentality I've been bringing since. I'm not worried about the Hall of Famers or who. I'm just worried about myself and my team and where we can grow and where we can build off of. Thank you.
Hall of Famers.